Just have a look at that thumbnail. Just take it in. Just take it in. You know, ask yourself, some of these nurses, are they what you would call qualified medical professionals? You know, are they the kind of people that espouse values such as care and compassion and humility? Are they nurses, or are they brainwashed political agitators, self-absorbed narcissists? Ask yourself, are they even human? I am not exaggerating at all. This is what I truly feel. I truly feel that some of the worst people in society are embedded within not just the NHS, also the teaching profession, and also the police as well. And there's quite a clear reason for that. But this video is about the NHS, which the best I can say for it is not fit for purpose. But I can go much further than that and say that it has been pivotal and critical in enabling the genocide that has taken place within this country in the last couple of years. And the temerity and the complete lack of self-awareness and the overt and outright narcissism on display from some of these nurses who have voted to strike absolutely sickens me. They are demonic. They are utterly demonic, soulless creatures. As I say, look at that thumbnail image and ask yourself, would you want to be put in the care of these kinds of people? I think public opinion is very slowly turning on the NHS. Only very slowly. There's so much residual brainwashing permeating the consciousness of many people in this country regarding the NHS, that people still think it's acceptable, you know, to wait up to a year for operations, for diagnoses, 2-3 months for first cancer treatment after being diagnosed, and that's even before the lockdown started. But public opinion is starting to slowly change. And whilst this may not be a tipping point, and to be honest with you, I don't even think we're going to have a tipping point anymore in this country, because for me, the people have shown themselves to be willing to put up with literally anything. But what it is doing, it's just changing more minds about the NHS, about about the whole concept of the NHS. The NHS as an organisation, and crucially the people who are working within the NHS. You know, one of the meta-narratives in the last few years, well, no, decades actually. You know, we hear it every year, don't we? Oh, the NHS is under pressure. NHS is going to crack. NHS is facing its worst winter ever. Yawn, bloody yawn. Yawn. But the meta-narrative is, despite the levels of funding, and I don't know what they are, I think that the NHS gets thrown money at it left, right and centre. The meta-narrative is that it's always, you know, the government's trying to destroy the NHS. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, the government doesn't want to. The governments across the world don't care about your health. They don't care about your well-being. They're actively trying to kill you. You know, if people haven't worked that out yet, then, you know, they're not going to, are they? But worse are so many of the what I would call communist political agitators working within the NHS, for whom first do no harm is not even a thing. The Hippocratic Oath is not even a thing. We've seen that in the last couple of years. They don't care. All they care about is that money, even though they're socialists, care about that money. They love the money, these socialists, as, you know, many socialists actually do. I don't know any, I know a lot of people who would describe themselves as socialists, but they're not. They care about that. They care about bringing the government down, and they care about their own narcissistic, malevolent aims. All they care about is themselves. We have got the whole irony of the NHS, a health profession, a health organisation in a country that was genuinely free and in a society that was high functioning, most of the individuals within that health profession, they would be caring and compassionate, intelligent people. The NHS, unfortunately, is stuffed full of psychopaths, sycophants, political agitators, and useful idiots. How dare they go on strike? How dare they? How dare they go on strike after what they have done in the last 2.5 years? It is utterly abhorrent. The lack of self-awareness is something else. It is unbelievable. More pay. More pay. It's always the same with these people. More money, more money, more money. It's never enough. They've never, ever got enough money. They always want more. Happy to take the adulation, the affected adulation from the left-wing media. The left-wing establishment-owned media who know exactly the puppet masters what they are doing with these useful narcissistic idiots. Fair play to any nurses who've stood up in the last 2.5 years and done the right thing, who've not been used as, allowed themselves to be used as weapons of tyranny, who've not been instruments of tyranny, instruments of torture, because I'm sorry, most of them have. And this is what people need to realise. Children died alone in hospital because of nurses not allowing their mums and dads in to see them. The psychopathic bastards. It's before we even get to the jabs. It's before we even get to the jabs. And isn't it telling? Isn't it so telling how the set of people, I think, you may agree, you may disagree, but I think a lot of people actually do agree now. The ones who seem to be most still brainwashed into thinking that everything that was done in the last couple of years was acceptable and haven't figured out that most of it was a lie is the medical profession in this goddamn country that's been taken over and poisoned and infiltrated by communists and their acolytes and their sycophants and their useful idiots, many of whom are in the NHS, these doctors and nurses and medical professionals. I'm not tarring all of them with the same brush, far from it, but I will say one thing. Few in number are the doctors and nurses who've actually come out and called this out. Few in number, considering there's around 1 million people in this country employed in the NHS. What percentage of those people have come out and said, no, I will not be associated with this disgusting tyranny that is going on in the name of health, in the name of keeping everyone safe, in the name of the greater good? No, the lockdowns, the jabs, the sending of old people to care homes under the command of Matt Hancock. And we all know what he did, don't we? Matt Hancock, the I'm a celebrity hero, rehabilitated his image. Are people in this country so stupid? Well, yeah, they are actually, yeah. Don't even know why I'm asking that question. But this is disgusting. Wearing masks outside. You're supposed to be a medical professional. You're supposed to have a semblance of intelligence. I think there's a special place in the most fiery, hottest depths of hell for these nurses. For the ones who've engaged in this psychopathic, tyrannical, totalitarian regime and behaviour in the last 2.5 years, who are now asking for yet more money. How much money do you want? Do you ever stop for a moment to think about all the people who are self-employed, who didn't get anything to get any furlough payment, and their businesses had to shut? Some for the better part of a year who went under. Do you ever think about them? No, you don't, do you? Because all you think about is yourselves, your own selfish and narcissistic ambitions. You're ambitious. Oh, I'm ambitious, yeah, and I want more money. You're supposed to care for people. Your priority is not supposed to be agitating politically. It's not supposed to be virtue signalling. It's not supposed to be your career. It's not supposed to be getting more money for yourself. Especially now, and especially after what you've done. You know, if you know anyone who's a nurse who's striking, send them this video. I think you're all disgusting. I think you're all absolutely abhorrent. I think it is utterly despicable. Utterly despicable. Not just that you're demanding yet more money. You're already well paid. You're already paid well above the average wage. Not just that, but the fact that you're doing it after everything that you have done to the people of this country in the last 2.5 years. Under the command of the Tory government that you profess to loathe. You don't, do you? You don't care. All you care about is yourself. Disgusting, despicable, depraved people. One day a reckoning will come for you. One day it will. Because there's too many of us now. Even though there's so many sheep still in this country, there are too many of us now who know exactly who did what, who didn't do what, who spoke out, who didn't speak out, who did nothing but agitate, politically agitate, and completely absolve themselves of the responsibility to care for their patients, old and young, and who didn't. Few are the number, in my opinion, that come out of this in the NHS with any credit. And those that do, fair play to you. And I tell you one other thing as well. Rewind back to January this year, when the threat of mandatory vaccinations for NHS staff was very, very real. Well, they came out in droves. A lot of those nurses, they came out in droves, you know, to support us at the protest that we've been doing for the best part of 2 years. Then they came out with the boards, NHS staff, you know, NHS staff against mandatory, all the rest of it. Came out for 2 or 3 weeks until, as we predicted, it would collapse. And it did. Where are they now? Where are you now? No, you came out to fight for yourself and your own rights. You weren't there before your jobs were threatened, and you're not there now, are you? Where are you? I'm sorry. I detest the NHS. I detest the mentality of it. I hate it so much. And the reason for that is twofold. Yes, it is undergoing an engineered collapse, of course, a managed decline. It's happening very quickly, of course. But you, psychopathic nurses and doctors and anyone else who's in there, who's lavishing praise upon themselves, who's happy to accept the hero worship, that stupid clapping and banging of pans. No, we see right through you. We see right through you. You're not caring, you're not compassionate, you're not altruistic, you're not intelligent, you're not brave. No, you're not. You're psychopathic, sycophantic, foolish, selfish, narcissistic, cowards. Demanding more money. Shame on you. Shame on you.